ቴሌቪዥን ስርጭታችን በኤኤምኤን ፕላስ የቴሌቪዥን ቻናላችን ዘወትር ከሰኞ እስከ አርብ ከቀኑ 11 ሰዓት እስከ ምሽቱ 2 ሰዓት እንዲሁም ቅዳሜና እሁድ ከጠዋቱ 2 ሰዓት እስከ ቀኑ 6 ሰዓት ድረስ ይከታተሉ። የአዲስ አበባ ከተማ አስተዳደር ትምህርት ቢሮ ባደረገው ጥናት መሰረት ተማሪዎች የሂሳብና የእንግሊዝኛ ትምህርቶች ላይ ያላቸው ውጤት እንዲሻሻል ከአራተኛ ክፍል እስከ 8ኛ ክፍል ድረስ የሂሳብ ትምህርትን በአማርኛ በአፋን ኦሮሞና በእንግሊዝኛ ቋንቋዎች እንዲሁም የእንግሊዝኛ ቋንቋ ትምህርትን ከአራተኛ ክፍል እስከ 8ኛ ክፍል ድረስ በትምህርት ቴሌቪዥን ስርጭታችን ይከታተሉን። አዲስ ሚዲያ ኔትወርክ የትውልድ ድምጽ።
This program is brought to you by the City Government of Addis Ababa Education Bureau in collaboration with Addis Media Network. This is English for Grade 6. Hello students, how have you been? Last week we have seen about, yes, we have learned about passive and active voice sentences, yes? Do you remember about the passive voice and the active voice? Let me check you out. She is called by the teacher. And the teacher calls her. When you see these two sentences, which one of them is passive and which one of them is active? Let me give you 30 seconds. Try to remember what we have said last time, all right? The teacher is called, she is called by the teacher and the teacher calls her. I am sure you said that the first one, she is called by the teacher, is passive voice, right? Passive voice. Because in this sentence, the subject, she, is not the doer of the action. It's not the girl or the one which we say she, the student, that called the teacher. Yes? In this sentence, the doer of the action is the object, which is the teacher, right? The teacher calls her. So that means the second sentence, the teacher calls her. Here, since the teacher is the doer of the action, it is the teacher who performs the action calls. So, in the second sentence, it shows what? Active voice. Active voice. Yes? And also we have seen about the present continuous, active and passive, right? Let us check it. They are being awarded by the school. They are being awarded by the school. Look at this sentence. The subject of this sentence is They. Very good. They, right? How about the object? The object here is the school. And the action. The action is being awarded. This is the action. Awarded. Now, who awarded who? Is it those that we call they that performed this action, or is it the school? Let me give you a few seconds and think about it, all right? And I will add some more, okay? Helen, yeah, is cleaning. Helen is cleaning, yeah, the house. Helen is cleaning the house. Now, can you tell me the differences between these two sentences? Try to focus. Think about it for 30 seconds, okay? 30 seconds. All right. The first one says they are being awarded by the school. Yes? Who is the doer of the action in this sentence? You said the school, right? Excellent. Yes, the school. And the role of the school in this sentence is object. Now, in this case, the object is the doer of the action, not the subject. What does it mean? That means this sentence is present continuous passive. Passive, right? Let's go to this one. Helen is cleaning the house. The action which is performed here is what? Cleaning. Yes? Okay. Who is the cleaner in this sentence? Is it the subject or the object? I know most of you said the subject, yes? Because the house cannot perform an action, right? So, since our subject here, Helen, is the doer of the action, which means since the subject is active to do the action, then this sentence is what? It is active. Active voice or active sentence, all right? We also have seen about the negative sentences. Do you remember about that? Yeah? Okay. And then in the case of present continuous passive, the form is, yeah, the present auxiliaries, is, are, yeah, plus, so far it is the same with the simple present, right? But since it is continuous, to show the continuity, we add what? Being. Plus being, and then the passive form of a verb is what? Verb 3. This is how we make what? Present continuous passive. How about when we make it negative? Just like the examples that we have seen earlier. Yes? Is, are, yeah? Plus the negative indicator word, not. Okay? Don't forget, not is inserted between the auxiliary verb and being. Okay? Then, being. Finally, verb 3. Okay? This is how we make it negative. Is, are, plus not, plus being, plus verb 3. These are all what we have learned last week about the passive and active sentences, and also we tried to practice on how to change active sentences into passive. The first step is what? Changing the subject and the object, because a subject in an active sentence becomes what? Object of a passive sentence. And the object of active sentence becomes a subject of passive sentence. Very good. That was all about last week. And today, we're going to see cause and effect. What did I say? I said cause and effect. After this lesson, you will be able to tell a cause and an effect. You can identify the cause or the effect in a given sentence, and you can construct a sentence by organizing cause and effect. All right? Follow me. Cause and effect. Okay. Before we define the words, let us see some things first. Look, what happens when you burn trash? What happens when you burn trash? Or what happens if there are lots of cars? There are lots of cars or many cars. Many cars. When I say many cars, it's not the new electric cars. I'm talking about those cars that work with fuel. What do you think would happen? What do you think when there is a burning of trash everywhere in your environment? Tell me what happens to your breath. How do you breathe? Or what difficulties do you face? Let me give you a few seconds and discuss this with your parents or your friends. Okay? Just 30 seconds. Right. I believe that most of you might say there will be coughing, yeah? Coughing, yes? Coughing and difficult to breathe, yeah? Difficult to breathe, yes? Or in general, we can say what? Air pollution. Yeah? If there is a lot of smoke in your surrounding, and if there is also a smoke that comes from the engine of the cars, there will be what? A coughing. Yeah, most of you say what? And you just hold your hands into your mouth. Yes? Why do you do that? Because of the difficulty to breathe. And what do we call it? We call it air pollution, right? Yes, but when you see these two things, one of them comes first, or one of them is the reason for the second one. Which means, for the air pollution, what is the reason? Yes? The reason is what? The burn, or the smoke. The smoke that comes from the trash and the smoke that comes out of the engine of the cars. So what are these? Yes, these are, the cause. The cause. And the coughing, the difficulty to breathe, and the air pollution, what do we call it? We call it effect. We call it effect. Yeah? So, if we see this one, we can simply define what cause and what effect is, right? Yeah, cause. Cause. The reason why something happens. Why something happens. that means it is the first action, right? It is the first action. Because if there was no burn of trash, or if there was no smoke of cars, yes, there wouldn't be what? There wouldn't be air pollution. So, cause means what? It is the reason why something happens. We will see in different situations, all right? And how about the effect? For example, in this case, the coughing, the air pollution, the difficulty to breathe, or sometimes your eyes might tear down. Yes? Your tears fall down when there is lots of smoke. Yeah? These are what? Effect. And an effect or effect, the result that follows the reason. Yes? Which means it is what? It is the second event, or it is the consequence. Yes? Which one is first? A cause is, when I say first, it's not when you write it in the form of a sentence. Yeah? Okay, the first event to happen is what? Cause. Because cause is what? The reason why something happens. And effect is what? The result. The result that follows the reason. Is it clear about cause and effect? I mean, can you tell a cause and an effect from anything that happens around you? Like, for example, can you tell the cause of your results? I don't know if they are good or bad. There is always a cause, yeah? So, a cause is what? The reason. And effect, result. Let us see them, how we express cause and effect in a sentence. Okay? Good. The first way is, look, using this word, because of. Because of, okay? Because of, yeah? Because of plus cause plus, yes, comma, plus effect. Just to remind you one thing, if you are using because of and because, there is a little bit difference in structure. Be careful, all right? If it is because of that you are using, then the cause becomes what? Noun or noun phrase. Noun or noun phrase. Noun phrase. That means a noun with an adjective or a noun with a determiner, okay? If you are using because of, then what comes next is cause, then comma, and then what? The effect. All right? Let us see some situations based on this. Okay? All right. Because of yeah? Because of the smoke, comma, this is what I meant by noun phrase. In this sentence, in this phrase, we have what? We have a smoke, which is noun, the determiner or definite article. Together, we call it what? Noun phrase, right? Okay. Because of the smoke, comma, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Yeah? Because of the smoke, I can't breathe. But is because of always in the beginning of a sentence? What do you think? Have you seen it in a different structure? Discuss with your parents or with your teacher. Have you seen this because in a different position of a sentence? Yeah? Yes, we can also find it in the middle of a sentence. All right? We can start this way. Look, we come up with the effect. Give attention to this pattern. If you say because of, what follows after because of is the cause. all right? But if you begin your sentence with the effect, look, the structure is going to be like this. Effect, okay? This time, no commas. Then, because of, okay? Then, what comes next is what? Because this word can help us to tell the cause. It is always followed by the cause. So, because of plus cause. Let us change this sentence. On the first pattern, we start with because of, right? So what do we say? Because of the smoke, I can't breathe. How about if we change it in this pattern? How do we say? Let us begin with the effect. Which one is the effect in this sentence? I'm sure most of you say, I can't breathe, right? I can't breathe is the effect. Yes? So, to come up to this pattern, we begin with, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Yeah? Then, because of the smoke. Wow, isn't that nice? Just to change it simply, right? Yes, because of cause, effect, and now effect, because of, and cause. Okay, because I studied hard, this is what? This is a cause. How do I say? Because I studied hard. Do you see the difference between because of and because? Because the smoke. Simply noun and noun phrase. Yeah? But this time, because, I, subject, studied, verb. You see? Because I studied hard, this is the cause. Then what happened? Because I studied hard, I scored 10 out of 10. Excellent. Right? Look, this is the cause and this is the effect. We can do the same, which means we can start with the effect. How do we start? This is simple. I'm sure you can do it. Let me give you 1 minute. Write it again. Start with the effect and then come up with the cause. Just 1 minute. All right. Your time is up. I am sure most of you say what? I scored 10 out of 10. This is your history, right? I scored, yeah, 10 out of 10. Wow, excellent. How? Why? Because, yeah, because I studied hard. Nice. This time we begin with the effect and then come up with the conjunction because, and since we said that because is followed by a clause, we come up with a subject and a verb. I scored 10 out of 10 because I studied hard. Am I clear? So far we have seen how many patterns? 2 patterns. Before I go to the third one, let me give you a situation and you practice writing or making them cause and effect in order. All right? Okay. Situation. Activity 1. Activity 1. Okay. Activity 1. Here is situation 1. Situation 1. Okay? Okay. Throw garbage. Throw garbage. And, yes, and dirty environment. Use your time. I only give you 1 minute for one situation. All right? What is that? Throw garbage and dirty environment. Situation 2. Situation 2. Okay, for this one, for the first situation, throw garbage and dirty environment, yes, you can use because. Okay, throw garbage and dirty environment. And the second situation or situation 2, yes, simply garbage, and the other one is dirty environment, the same, dirty environment. Which one do you think we use for this? Yeah, because of. Okay. 1 minute for the first situation, another 1 minute for the second situation. I will take your answers after 2 minutes. right, your time is up. The first one, situation 1, throw garbage and dirty environment. And I said that use because. How do you say? Let's do it together. Okay. Since we are using because, then because is followed by subject plus verb, a clause, right? Okay. Because, now look. Because people throw garbage. People throw garbage, comma. When you start with the conjunction, don't forget to put comma before you pass to the effect, all right? Because people throw garbage, what is the effect? The effect is what? Dirty environment, yes? Okay. Yes, our environment becomes dirty. Here we go. This is for the first sentence. By the way, you can start either way. Either way means what? Our environment becomes dirty. Let me jot it down. Our environment becomes dirty. Yeah? Now we begin with the effect. So we're going to insert the conjunction in the middle. There's no need of comma. Our environment becomes dirty because, yeah? Because people throw garbage. You see? This is for the first situation. If you have written one of the two, you're correct. If not, I'm sure you improved that on the second situation. Let's see about the second situation. The second situation is garbage and dirty environment. The same. But the difference is on this one. On the first one, it was simply what? Because. But this one, because of. Here is a preposition. How do you write it? Let's do it together. Okay? Let's start with because of. Because of the garbage, okay? We simply what? We simply come up with a noun or noun phrase, right? Okay. Because of the garbage, what is the effect? Our environment becomes dirty. Or you can start using the effect, which is our environment, yeah? Our environment becomes dirty because of the garbage. Because of the garbage. These are the answers. I'm sure most of you have done it. Is there anything that you want to tell me or something? Yes? No? Okay. Let's go to the second pattern. All right. The second pattern is since. The other one, the third actually. Since. Yes? Since. In order to tell cause and effect, yeah, we can also use what? Since. How do we use it? Look. Since plus cause, okay, plus effect. Okay, look. Since, then the cause, then effect. Look. Since, let me give you an example. Since since he came late, oh, that's one of your friend. Since he came late, yeah? What do I say? Since he came late, he missed the bus. You see? Since, then what? Cause. Yeah? Since he came late, he missed the bus. You can also begin by the effect. Look, he missed the bus. He missed the bus. Yeah? Since he came late. Wonderful. This is also another way of telling what? Cause and effect. Let me show you another way. Leads to. Leads to. Leads to. Obviously, leads to is preceded by the cause. All right? Because this time we're going to show what? Yes, the reason and the consequence. Yeah? Okay. For example, littering, yeah? Littering in the streets leads to, yes, closed drains. You see? Littering means what? Throwing garbage, okay? Littering in the streets leads to closed drains. Now, what is the reason? Why are the drains on the streets closed? Yes, the reason is what? Littering garbage, or throwing garbage, right? So how do we say? Littering in the streets. Now, this is the first action. And the consequence or the effect that comes after is what? A closed drains, right? So, one other way of expressing cause and effect is what? Leads to. Today we have seen 4 ways of expressing, yes, cause and effect. We begin by saying because of, because, since, and leads to. But these are not the only ways. There are a lot, like due to by itself, just simply the preposition to. You can read this in your textbook, and yes, you can discuss it with your teachers. All right? Our today's lesson was what? Telling cause and effect. We have done 2 activities, and now I'm going to give you a homework to practice more. All right? Okay, good. Okay. The homework is, since one of the objectives that I told you earlier before I begin the lesson is what? You can identify a cause and effect from a sentence. Yes? So my homework is, yeah, identify or write the cause and the effect. The effect from the given or from the sentences below. From the sentences below. Okay. 1. Because of the rain. Because of the rain. Okay. We canceled our program. Because of the rain, we canceled our program. Write down the cause and effect. Let me give you another. Children are playing outside. Yeah? Children are playing outside because it is sunny. Okay? Children are playing outside because it is sunny. Okay. Come up with the cause and effect. One more. Okay. Smoking leads to yes, lung cancer. Smoking leads to lung cancer. Write down the cause and effect. 3 sentences with cause and effect. That's up to you to identify the cause and effect. Today, to sum up, we have seen about cause and effect. Cause means what? The first action or the reason why something happens. And effect means the result which is followed after the reason or after the cause. In a sentence, you can tell your cause and effect of a sentence. You can start by the cause or by the effect, it doesn't matter, but you need to follow or to give attention to the language pattern that we have used. All right? That's all what I have for today. I'm sure I will see you next week. Until then, have a good one.